Now, your First Alert 5 weather.
And welcome back, everyone. Well, like it or not, red flag warnings in April, fairly commonplace. In fact, this is the month that we see the most red flag warnings issued here in southern Colorado by the National Weather Service Pueblo. And tomorrow, sort of living up to that expectation of the high fire danger. We'll see widespread high fire danger conditions with gusts around 40 to 50 miles per hour. I have that threat level critical. It could be extreme in some areas. And it looks like Wednesday to Thursday, I actually think will stay elevated at best across parts of southern Colorado, especially down across Highway 50, down into the southern border counties. Friday, finally some cooler unsettled conditions expected. And I think that widespread high fire danger threat should be much more limited by the end of the week. Today's temperatures, as expected, much warmer than what we saw throughout the weekend. You know, it's hard to believe that back on Saturday we were waking up to about 4 inches of snow, parts of the Pikes Peak region, even more than that into parts of Teller County. Today back to 70 in the Springs, 80 degrees for the Steel City. And right now in Colorado Springs, thanks to these longer days we're experiencing, it takes a little while to cool down, doesn't it? Still some sunshine, still some daylight for about the next hour and 15 minutes. And that outside temperature, just right. I'm going to give it a chef's kiss. Absolutely beautiful this afternoon. 66 degrees in the Springs, 77 currently in Pueblo. High pressure is what's brought us the warm up since Saturday afternoon. This is starting to move east, though, in advance of an approaching area of low pressure. This one takes a little bit more of a northerly track, so it's not going to bring us quite the fetch of moisture that we saw late last week and into the weekend. Instead, we will see some scattered to isolated storm chances developing late this week. Overall, though, the trough influences our weather by bringing in some much cooler temperatures late this week. But before we get there, it's going to be that high fire danger threat we're concerned with from Tuesday into Wednesday. Again, some areas could see that continue into the day on Thursday. Take a look at the futurecast wind gusts. Tomorrow through about noon, relatively quiet, except across the mountains. I think anytime after noon through the early to mid-afternoon hours, that's when we'll see some of those stronger gusts surface. And I think up and down the interstate, eastern plains, likely a gust around 30 to maybe 40 miles per hour, whereas the mountain areas, southern Sangres, parts of the Wet Mountain Valley, San Luis Valley could see some of those isolated gusts up above 50 miles per hour. And it's that dry downslope southwest wind that moves from the mountains to the plains that brings in another couple of degrees of warming to that forecast into the mid 70s tomorrow in the Springs. I think we'll easily see lower to middle 80s in and around Pueblo. Let's talk about moisture, though. This is what we're keeping an eye on as we'll see snow in the mountains on Wednesday. You can see that first round really doesn't move much farther south than Colorado Springs. Probably stays up across the Palmer Divide up through Denver and the Northeast Plains. Then we get a secondary little wave of energy that tries to move out of the mountains on Thursday. That's followed with yet a third one as we make our way towards Friday. At this point, nothing looks that significant. That's why, again, I mentioned just some isolated scattered showers late this week and maybe into Saturday up across the high country. All right, overnight lows tonight down around 41 in the Springs, 43 Canyon City, 38 in Pueblo. Take a look at the warmth as almost a little pre-summer heat comes roaring back to the plains with the 80s out across the lower elevations, 70s here in the Pikes Peak region. So high fire danger Tuesday. I think we're borderline whether we see it on Wednesday again. I think it's generally going to be along and south of the Arkansas River Valley, but certainly watching that closely. Then we get some showers possible Wednesday night. Probably a better chance of that, though, as you make our way into Friday, drying out by the upcoming weekend. For Pueblo, it's wind, fire danger, more of the same through Wednesday. Weak chance of showers Thursday, not a ton of moisture here in our extended forecast. Similar story for Canyon City. Got a lot of wind with some cooling temperatures late this week. Maybe a few isolated showers Thursday and a slightly better chance on Friday. Woodland Park, you'll likely capture some more moisture than the lower elevations with a rain snow chance by Wednesday afternoon, and then more snow showers possible throughout the end of the upcoming week.